All right, today on the show we're talking about the 10 reasons or 12 reasons or the 20 reasons. I've got so many reasons why people move, but there's usually a big lifestyle change. So before the break I was talking about divorce and how difficult that is to go through. The divorce itself is difficult enough, and then when you're putting the sale of a home on top of that, it makes it even more challenging. So if you are going through that situation, you want an agent who is going to be respectful, who is not going to take sides, and ultimately my job is to make sure that you get the highest price in the quickest amount of time. Now, there are situations where one spouse does not want to sell the house, does not want to leave the house, and will sabotage the sale. An agent, I just saw this yesterday, an agent was closing on a home that was a result of a divorce, and they did their final walkthrough the day before, and the house was a disaster. There was clothes everywhere. There was drug paraphernalia left out on the counter. It was an absolute disaster. And that home was supposed to close, or was going to close the next day. And this agent posted a few pictures, and it was unbelievable. And so those situations, oftentimes, the realtor has to get involved and help get that house, especially the listing agent, obviously. The listing agent is responsible for those sellers and responsible to make sure that that home is ready to close, not only financially, but physically. It has to be broom swept. It has to be clean. It can't have a bunch of junk everywhere. So this agent, he brought in several people that he knows, probably hired some people. And, again, this is above and beyond. These are the things that we do and we have to do, and we don't really talk about that much. But that agent spent all night getting rid of the garbage in that house, just clothes that were scattered, junk, garbage that was scattered, plates that were still in the cabinets. It was absolute, and the house was just dirty, so dirty. So you can't turn over a home like that. Most buyers don't want to buy a home knowing that it's been a disaster zone just 24 hours before. So what happened was that agent and people who he hired, actually, they started to clean. They got garbage bags. They cleaned. They spent the entire night. They spent like 6 hours cleaning this house. That's not really in our job description, but it is 100% things that we will do if we have to. We do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. And so that house did ultimately close, and it was delayed a few hours because the buyers wanted to see it again, knowing that it was cleaned up and it didn't look like an absolute tornado had gone through the property. And it did, and we did, and it closed. So that was a good news. But understand that your agent, 99% of the time, just does not put the sign in the yard and the house sells and everything's hunky-dory from the very, very beginning. There's a lot of obstacles in that road. So let's talk about the next thing. And again, this is, I said, major life events is the reason why most people move or have to sell a property. I have dealt with a situation of death on many occasions. Probably hundreds over the years. And I've worked with attorneys who are helping family members that have to close the estate, and in order to close the estate, they have to actually sell the property. Oftentimes in that situation, again, it's not cut and dry. Nothing's ever cut and dry, to be very honest. Oftentimes, a lot of the brothers and the sisters and everybody has to agree on how much mom and dad's house is going to sell for, if they feel like it's enough. Maybe one person is out of state, but they're the executor, and then there are other kids that are here at home, And so we're trying to work through all of that to make everybody as happy as possible, and then know who has to show up. Is there just one person that can sign for the whole family? Does everybody have to sign? That's where I have to talk to your attorney. I have to, there's, again, so many steps that you may or may not think of during the process. It's not just as simple as putting a for sale by owner sign in the yard. And maybe, and again, you may get an offer, but is it the best offer? Is it the one that's going to go all the way through till closing? How do you know that? How do you know that? So again, these are definitely reasons why people move in, and the reason why I'm telling you why people are moving right now. It's important to know the situation with the market and how and why it's not going to change a whole lot over the course of the next probably 3 to 5 years. We will continue to have very, very low inventory. So that'll make it more and more difficult for buyers to find a home. Baby boomers, the biggest, largest, greatest generation. 1964 is the final year of the greatest generation, baby boomers. And you all are you're in your 60s, right? About to be in your 60s and older. And maybe you're still living in a home. I talk to so many people in their early 60s right now. 9 times out of 10, you all are looking for the same home. So many people, they're not old, they're still, very much enjoying life, but they don't need the giant 2-story house anymore, which is good. Because that makes way for somebody else, a family, to move into that 2-story house and start their life there. More and more of the people in their early, mid, late 60s are looking for a ranch-style home. They want something nice because they've earned it. You've earned it. You have earned the opportunity to live in a home that is fantastic, beautiful, has all the luxuries that you want, but they're really hard to find. So I have found, and this is important, if you're in your 60s and you're looking to downsize or right size your home, and you're looking for a ranch style home in Cincinnati, they can be found, but most likely you're going to have to build. A lot of different options for building a home in the Cincinnati area. There are. Now, is it going to be expensive? Sure. It will be. New construction is expensive, but will you get a beautiful home to live in, your final home, your final destination before you go someplace else? Have to be careful because we're all living older and we want to live in a home that is comfortable and maybe not just a whole big waste of space. So there are homes, and I've just recently helped a couple. It was perfect, absolutely perfect timing, because they called me and they said, "Okay, Michelle, we're kind of thinking about this," and I laughed at them. I said, "Ha ha, maybe we'll find something, but maybe it'll take 6 months." Well, darn it, we got busy, and I put that couple on a portal. And a new construction home, a market home, a home that was almost complete, came up. They said, "Let's go look at it." We went to look at that property. They said, "We love it. We absolutely love this house." I'm like, okay, let's put an offer on it. Let's talk to the builder's rep and let's get it done. And then we turned around and they were ready. I'd already seen their home. I had already known that their home was pretty show ready. Only needed really like a day or two to get all the way show ready. We were able to get their home under contract that they were going to buy. We were able to end up selling their home for a great price, and very soon we'll be closing, and it was a perfect scenario. They don't have to move twice because that home was a market home and it was 95% complete. And when we sold the current home, we actually put on the listing, "Hey, listen, The sellers need occupancy until this date because they're building a home, and all of the buyers were just fine with that. I think in that situation we had multiple offers. I think every buyer except two that wrote the offer were willing to accept the occupancy that the sellers wanted. So buyers, you have to be so flexible right now if you want to win a bid on a property. And you have to come to the table with cash because you are competing with other buyers who have cash, who are willing to pay the difference if the house does not appraise for the sales price. So all of that you have to understand is part of the process in today's world of real estate. And so, yeah, it's all, again, I want to tell you it is always a good time to buy or sell, because the longer you wait to buy, the more expensive the house is likely going to be. If you are ready to sell and you have, and this is the caveat though, if you are willing and ready to sell, you do need to have a place to move to. And so having someone by your side, a real estate agent like myself, Michelle Sloan at Sloan Sells Homes, helping you through the process and putting a plan together. I'm a planner. I'm a Virgo, if that means anything to you. I'm a planner. And I like to know what's happening step by step by step, and I'm going to tell you what you're going to do step by step by step. Okay? All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to lighten things up a little bit. Oh, let's talk about spring cleaning, shall we? Let's see what's on the top of your list to do, your to-do list for spring. My name's Michelle Sloan, and you're listening to the Sloan Sells Homes Open House right here on 55 KRC, the talk station.